once again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. We are now going into our next paper that will be presented by Tulsi Sri Goswami and Prakash Giri Goswami. Tulsi Sri Goswami is from Central University of Rajasthan, and Prakash Giri Goswami is from Satya Foundation. And their paper is on the principles and practices of management, the Ramayana way. So let us welcome the presenters. To the presenters.
Yes, thank you, sir. Pranam.
Shri Goswami.
Giri Goswami.
Yep.
This paper is co-authored by Prakash Giri Goswami, and I'll be presenting this paper. So, shall I start sharing my screen, sir?
Yes, please.
Give me a moment, sir.
Sure.
I hope now it's visible.
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, sir. So as you said that the title of our presentation is Principle and Practices of Management, the Ramayana Way. And first, let me share the contents of presentation. It will be like Lord Rama in Ramayan, and then I'll share something about the management in Ramayan, which we can see. And further, I have included some of the management practices which are well exemplified in Ramayana. These are like building strategic associations and alliances, establishment of strong vision and mission, leaders and leadership, the communication system, team and trust management, then values and ethics, and at the last will be elaborating some of the inferences which we can take away as a learning from Ramayana. So just to begin with, I must say that this paper is drafted on the basis of subjective exploration philosophy. Means it is just simply a translation of previous writing, that is of Valmiki Ramayana, and review of management practices. Like as we all know that Lord Rama is the most chanted god in the Indian pantheon of gods. And there are two most famous variants of Ramayana which has been described in numerous dialects, those of says Valmiki and Goswami Tulsidas. And they have composed Ramayana and Ramcharit Manas separately and popularly accepted as Ramayana. So looking for the management principle and practices, we may draw numerous practical examples from Ram Rajya. And that Ram Rajya is considered as the epitome of exemplification of good governance practices ever in the history. And Ramayana has been considered to offer clues of effective management practices for both state and corporate associations. So if I elaborate something about Lord Rama, though I know our knowledge is very, very limited about the Lord Rama and Ramayana, but still we have tried at our level best to elaborate something. So the first and foremost reason the Lord Rama's character, the way Lord Rama is held as Maryada Purushottam. And that is the ideal person, or we can say the perfect leader. And his leadership and management style, his way of dealing with his subordinates, his methods of managing challenges were totally founded on the region of qualities and morals. And he always chooses dharma. That is the touchstone in his decision making at each and every point. And Lord Rama signifying the personality attributes like honesty, faithfulness, happiness, respectability, calmness, mellowness, and which are very much acceptable and attractive, we know. And this was the motivation behind why Rama has been a good example. His authority, the ideal style of authority, and his management, the model practices. And in the Ramayana, we can perceive how Rama could hold his self-control even in hardest and worstest of situations and circumstances. And seldom do we discover that him responding regardless of compact provocations that were at the era. And if we try to understand the management in Ramayana, We can say that Ramayana has expressed management lessons in various ways. The whole content of Ramayana contains the practices on strategic management, on good governance, and quality leadership, the emphasis on dharma, that is the legitimate conduct, and which is, we know, it is universally accepted that these are the foundations of all the management practices. So there are earmarks of management practices being exceptionally contemporary in different chapters. But to be very specific and to point out some of, I must say that the second chapter, which is, we know that Ayodhya Kand, is a genuine composition on the issues identified with good governance, where Lord Rama has advised his younger Bharat on the best way to deal with the realm. It will have all the earmarks of being an incredible exercises on effective management practices, where Lord Rama says the quality of managers is the basic factor in great administration. And he emphasized that to appoint right people rather than yes men type people. And while hiring, the king must ensure the courageous, visionary, knowledgeable persons with a strong determination and enthusiasm. And the decision making is also elaborated by Lord Rama, prompting his sibling Bharat on the most proficient method of taking powerful decisions. He said that it should not be taken singularly and no discussion with the excessive number of individuals. Rather, it should be always with the consultation of a core team of ideal individuals who have a perfect intention to guide for the decisions in organizations concerned. And while another chapter is that Ayodhya Kand is all about the administration, and the Sundar Kand is an exemplary record on strategic management practices. So now, if I highlight some of the examples related to the management which we find in the Ramayana, is building strategic associations. It is universally accepted that networking plays an important role in success of every organization. So it is basic to curb the significance alliances and linkages that are mutually beneficial. So Lord Rama was one such master of fostering good relations and expert of cultivating great relationships for mutual gains. And an ideal manager would earn a great relations with the representatives in customers and so on to make the most of it for the association, for the mutual gain of both the parties. And in Ramayana, Rama's accomplishment was because of the solid coalition that is very well known to all of us as we have read or as we have seen some of the scripts. Like the association with the Sugriv, Hanuman, Vibhishan were the key unions that reversed the situation in support of himself. And Jatayu's assistance was a key defining moment in the pursuit. So, in alliance with the Sugriv, Lord Rama cursed Bali in a fight and assisted Sugriv with getting back his realm. Consequently, what Sugriv did, he assisted Rama and his creative armed forces to battle Ravan and get back Sita. And Hanuman's help all through excursion was fundamental in his triumphant the conflict and recovering Sita. So for today's organization as well, the correct consolidations and collision can help us arrive at better progress. And another example we can see related to the strong vision and mission, like Rama held forward a strong vision of things to come. The mission of the army drove by him was to overcome the Rakshasas and retrieve Sita. To this end, various moves were made, like conveying search parties, assembling a broad extension, giving an immediate challenge to Ravan. These activities streamed normally because of the vision held by Lord Rama. And this clearness about the objectives, just as the interaction empowered the army to place the essence in the mission to save Sita. Lord Rama, probably the best manager and leader in the Indian history ever. He achieved his mission by showing estimable managerial competencies. And similarly, everybody in organization nowadays should accept the organization's mission as though it's his own and work towards it. At the point when a manager is dealing with a specific project in the organization, just mentioning to individual what they need to do won't create any quality work, won't generate any output or productivity for the organization. Rather, managers need to give them a vision to pursue, And this will definitely give them a substantial mean to move forward and keep them spurred during the entire duration of the project. And another example related to leaders and leadership, I must say, the genuine leader is the one who groom leaders around. And this is exceptionally steep duty, provided it followed with the cautions. And it will have individuals around inside the organization who are equipped for taking autonomous decisions for aggregate accomplishment of the organization. And at the point when Sita was kidnapped by Ravan, the ruler of Lanka, Lord Rama showed a fantastic ability of driving the multitude of monkeys. His first conspicuous quality as a leader was being a visionary. His vision was to protect Sita from Ravan and defeat every one of the troubles in the Middle Way. And his second conspicuous quality, we can say, was a be powerful helper to the military. So his military created unique competence to confront the enemy under his leadership. And at the point when Hanuman effectively found Sita whereabout, he, on his own decision, set afire the city of Lanka. Consider the situation. What Ram did was something that each leader ought to learn, like developing leaders within the organization to prevail with and regard to accomplishing mutual goal. And a genuine leader is somebody who encourages future leaders. And through consistent consolation and coaching, a leader can really draw out the best in others. And definitely in every organization, leaders need to distinguish potential leaders and offer them opportunity to make a move. Similarly, Rama offered total opportunity to Hanuman to assume the responsibility for specific front of the epic fight. And another practice of management is sound communication system. We know that effective communication plays a pertinent role in success of every organization. So it's being considered as a lifeblood for the enterprises. For instance, in Ramayan, we see that in absence of proper communication among Bali and Sugriv led to Bali's dream. And miscommunication between Lord Rama, Sita, and Lakshman lead to the kidnapping of Sita. So obviously, communication is the way to successful management. And without a vital communication, an association cannot work successfully. And continuously keeping the entryway open for open discussion and between correspondence among all the individuals from the group. Definitely, it will guarantee smooth working, upgraded profitability, and a sound workplace in organization. So an administrative exercise here is to be careful with the miscommunication anytime in the organization. And for leaders, we must say that they should know the tips and tricks to overcome the challenges and communicate with speed and efficiency. And another practice is related to team and trust management. We know that the success of each attempt relies upon arranging by including each subordinate in the decision-making process. Regardless the battlefield of the management or of Ayodhya, the Lord Rama included everybody collectively into the process of decision-making. And at the point when it came to war, he depended every one of the 8 commanders with the specific obligations basis on their core competencies. If I quote here, the building of scaffold from India to Sri Lanka was not a simple task. But at that time, Rama has had his trust in Nal and Neel while relegating them the obligations. And it was considered as the first ever constructed bridge of the world. And same should be applied by the corporate managers who waste obligations with the most extreme confidence in completing the things through and with other subordinates. So at the point when it was about the governance of realm of Ayodhya, he endowed every one of his siblings relying upon their demonstrated abilities and capabilities. And at the point when each individual is regarded as the competent and associated with issue of significance, the person feels mindful as a partner of that event, and subsequently contributing monstrous words most particularly for the accomplishment. And at the point when managers are taking care of a specific project in organization, they must ensure including each and every worker from top to bottom throughout the hierarchy of organization. The proper coordination and cooperation of team is very critical and crucial for the successful accomplishment. And the commitments and assessment of each specialist considered while doing any work. And we know trust, obviously, it is a two-way street. That implies you as a manager or being a group leader should likewise trust and regard the group members and the subordinate, or we may lose the notable individuals. At the point when Vibhishan deserted, Rama took him under his security, and he at that point stopped for a moment to chat with the different armed forces bosses, some of whom could not help contradicting Ram. Rather than refubbling them, Rama elevated their doubts and got them to acknowledge his choice. So everyone felt that yes, their feeling had been heard and that their complaints had been explained. So strengthening of subordinates to scrutinize his choice was a key and interesting nature of Lord Rama. And another practice we can consider, that is values and ethics. See, Lord Rama symbolized the Maryada Purushottam as a result of his exacting adherence to compliances and setup of convictions during that era. And he never forfeited morals to win the validity, rather he picked the alternate path. And in many events during the fight with Ravan, he decided to challenge Ravan head on instead of unethical trick. And even we can also remind here one event when Ravan was totally incapacitated by Rama, but he was permitted to leave the war zone securely. Such was the soul of Lord Rama. So leaders too, in the midst of pain, should show incredible strength as far as staying compliant with the intensively sorting out troublesome issues. And this is a glimpse of something of incredible profound in Ramayana. One can learn the extraordinary credits of incredible leaders, whether be it a corporate leader or in human life or individual's personal life. So Lord Rama was notable for his ethical lead and his push to stand forward to act as an exemplification of his qualities. And the whole Ramayana is an embodiment of morals. Ravan devised Sita and abducted her in absence of Ram. And still, after all these, Rama consistently followed the moral street to take Sita back. So Rama's ethical convictions are the most characterizing part of his character. And he brought moral dynamic in all part of his life. And he supposedly maintains his ethical implicit rules regardless of how troublesome occasions he went through. He brought about his group and subordinates having the option to have full confidence in him consistently, and even acquired him the impossible loyalty of Vibhishan at that time. So on the off chance, we can say staying moral and leading the organization consistently, definitely the boss would confide in you and need to help you in your troublesome occasions. And this we just need to learn as a corporate leader nowadays. And the fight in Ramayana was better to set a model before the society to follow the words framework made by the society. So under the name of self-centered interest, there should be a zero tolerance and zero resistance strategy for the guilty party. And Ravan was a guilty party who snatched Sita and wanted to wed her forcefully. Ultimately, he was killed by Lord Rama. So each organization had some ethical values framework. So every one of the representatives should comprehend its importance and figure out how to follow to stay away from exacting and corrective activities against them. So these were the all practices which are exemplified in Ramayana. So now at last we can find some inferences out of that and we can take away some learning from Ramayana. So Ramayana elaborates exercises on management which are clear and straightforward, and the excellence lies in their comprehensiveness. And it is a normally accepted recommendation that corporate leaders and managers need to act distinctively in respective enterprises as per ethical system for a culture explicit governance practices. And the accomplishment of the enterprise relies on initiative of the management and leadership in driving with humanistic values, moral and ethical values, trustfulness, loyalty, complete devotion and commitment towards the association, and their capacity to make the appropriate decision at appropriate time. by building up solid unions for monstrous accomplishment on shared concern. And we know the learning from Ramayana is perfectly about the leader. A great leader is a person who arranges the whole conduction of the occasion, that conveys anticipate outcome, and should prepare the subordinate to stand brave and difficulty, and form and lay an essential vision and mission that serve the moral with worth framework, and always assess your victories dependent on the accessible assets and its position to the prompt techniques, and must have a straightforward sound correspondence framework and reliable groups, and the effective and transparent communication system. So Ramayana is one of such Indian epic that has a tremendous potential to change our consistently human existence, be it a professional management or in a personal human life. It never stopped to motivate us in a little cases, even after ages. So that is what all about. We found some of the examples of management practices in the Ramayana. Though I accept that we did have a very little knowledge about the great literature or the great epic of Ramayana, but still we have tried. We may have some errors, or we may have some faults in this conduction, but we may be excused for that. But we tried our level best to discuss about some of the practices of Ramayana and management. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Again, wonderful presentation that you have made.